Hola amigos, ¿cómo están? Hoy estoy aquí con mi amigo Brandon Simmons, que compra y vende casas sin usar nada de su propio dinero. Y hoy vamos a ver exactito cómo es que hace eso. Alright, so I'll ask you the questions in English. I'm going to transcribe them in Spanish.
Okay.
That way the viewers can understand exactly what it is you're saying. So, first off, thank you for letting me interview you. I appreciate you letting me interview you.
No problem.
If you want to introduce yourselves as well to the camera.
Hey, I'm Brandon Simmons. I live out here in the Phoenix, Arizona area and been doing real estate for probably 9 years now. And been flipping or wholesaling houses, buy and sell houses little or no money down for like the last 5 years.
Perfect. Well, first question, since I tengo mis listas de las preguntas aquí, what kind of led you into real estate to begin with?
Well, when I was a kid, we moved from California to Indiana, and we got a great house. We bought a great house in Indiana, and it turned out that my parents didn't buy the house the correct way. So the guy that sold us the house basically embezzled all the down payment money, like over $50,000 my parents put into the house. And we lost the house, and we ended up having to move out of the school district and move like 30 minutes away. And I remembered that pain of all that happening, and I realized I don't want that to ever happen, so I wanted to be educated in real estate and learn it. Plus, all the self-help books and everything that I read about real estate was that all the real millionaires, people that have made millions of dollars, most of them have done it through real estate. So that was my example.
Gotcha. So if you could explain kind of to the viewers so they know, because there's all kinds of different ways to make money in real estate. So
right.
What exactly is it that you do as far as real estate goes?
Okay, well, I focus on a couple of different areas, but my main niche is zero or no money down wholesaling, which is basically finding a property at a deep discount, usually around 20 to 40% off of the retail price, and finding another investor to sell that property to. And then they go and do the fix and flip and the rehab work on the property. So I'm usually go out and negotiate a deal with a seller, and then I try to sell that contract to end buyer at a cheaper price or at a discounted price.
Okay, gotcha. And as far as learning how to wholesale houses, how to do what you do, where did you learn?
There's a lot of great books and a lot of great programs out there. So I was listening to a podcast, and that podcast helped me understand how to do wholesaling. And then I researched some of the other gurus on the internet and joined a couple different courses and academies online. And then after I got all this knowledge, I really was kind of like not doing anything with it. And so I decided to go ahead and write a goal. And I remember I wrote the goal down on a little index card and said I wanted to make $5,000 within 30 days. And that 30 days was on my birthday. And so I wrote it down. It was very specific, like how all the people tell you to do all your goals. So it was very specific about the dollar amount and about the time. And then I was able to find a house and wholesaled it. And my profit, I did a 50-50 split on it. My profit was $5,500 the day after my birthday. So I missed it by 1 day, but I made an extra $500.
Yeah, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. Now, as far as you doing what you do and making the money that you do, what sets you apart? Because there are plenty of other people that would love to make over 6 figures. Because for a lot of people, that's their goal. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what they would love to have, is those big numbers. So, what are you doing differently from anyone else that's watching?
Yeah.
For them to do what you do.
I think the biggest thing, it's a lot of it is mindset. It's believing and trusting that you are okay, you're allowed to make that much money. Because I came from a household where, money doesn't grow on trees. Why are you turn off the lights? Like I remember my dad knocking on the door while we're taking a hot shower. It's like it's been 3 minutes, get out of the shower, and stuff like that. And so it's like everything was like stress about money. And then as you start to realize that It's a mindset. Really, the most important real estate you can ever flip is the 6 inches between your ears. Is your brain, is your mindset.
Yeah, actually, that's really
You gotta flip that, and then that's like setting a thermostat, saying that you're allowed to make that much. Like the T. Harv Eker talks about. So I think that was the biggest thing, and then using all the knowledge that I had and working my butt off. Like, don't be afraid. Like, I work on Saturdays. I'll work till 7 o'clock. I was out on my son's birthday, locking up a deal. So.
Dedication.
You have to be willing to put in the work, but also you have to put in the smart work, like the efficient and effective stuff, not just time wasting scrolling on the internet, but the revenue generating activities. Focus on that 20%, the 80-20 rule. Focus on that 20% that brings money into your business. That's what you should be focused on most of your time.
Gotcha. Everyone always they always think about what their lives would be like if they had the money that they wish they could have. So, how has your life changed? Because it's, you don't always do it for the money. You do it for the freedom to work for yourself. But how has your life changed now that you make what you make?
Well, I don't know if anyone else out there is married, but I'm married, and my wife gets a little anxious and nervous about things, especially when we were first married and we had no money and we're living paycheck to paycheck and we're borrowing from Peter to pay Paul and borrowing money from family because we're so broke, and just the stress, right? The stress level is really high. The anxiety level is really high. So it's nice to be able to have the money in the account where the wife knows that we have enough money to cover bills for quite a while, and I don't have super fancy cars or Rolexes or anything like that. My security is my wife being happy with money in the bank. That's my security.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I remember when I was first starting out, I ran into something that was called analysis paralysis, right?
Yeah.
Where I learned so many things that it was so much at once that I didn't know which one to go with, right? As I'm sure a lot of people, I don't know if you ever ran into that, but
100%.
How do people focus on just one thing? Because there's a million ways to make $1 million, and I'm sure that the viewers here will probably run into something like that where they want to learn making money online, they want to learn about real estate, they want to learn about whatever it is. Right. How can they focus on just one?
I think that's normal. I think as we start to, we have the internet age, we're hearing all these different programs, and we see these videos of all these different people making money all these different ways. I think is trying to figure out what you're passionate about, focusing on that one direction, and basically just focus on that until you have success. You're going to have failures, you're going to have setbacks, but just focus on that one direction until you have success.
Okay. The next question is, so why did you want to be an entrepreneur? I mean, I know you told me that you used to work at Wells Fargo at a bank, which is a respectable job. I mean, I used to work at the bank, and people gave me a little bit more respect than when I used to work at Party City, So
I'm a big chicken, so I used to switch jobs when I was first married and when I was a young kid. I switched jobs at a blink of an eye. Then I got married and I had kids, and I started to get a little bit more scarcity mindset, or worried about like what happens, what if. So I was working at Wells Fargo for I think 5 or 6 years. I worked my way up to from processing loans for mortgages to underwriting loans, which was very hard to get into. You have to kind of beat a lot of people out to pass tests and stuff. Then into management and supervision and stuff. So I was making a good living, and then everyone got laid off. Everybody. Yeah. And it made me realize that there is no such thing as job security. The only job security out there is investing in yourself, whatever that is. If you invest in yourself, you'll always reap the dividends and the payoffs from it.
Gosh. Well, let's talk about kind of some of the deals that you've done, because I'm sure everyone tries to have the perfect business, but it doesn't always. Nobody ever makes it to that perfect business. So What's been your favorite failure that you can think of when you were, doing what you do in real estate?
Oh, failure. There's a lot of failures. One of the things we talk about at the office whenever we're training new people or we're hiring new people and stuff is fail fast, fail often. I don't get mad at new employees that mess something up. Typically, as long as it doesn't cost us a lot of money, I know I've cost, my employer money and stuff like that, making mistakes. But the key is learning from the failure and moving on. If you don't learn from the failure, that's the biggest mistake. I've had big failures from not canceling contracts and losing earnest money. Losing $1,000 and it comes out of my paycheck.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, if I did something like that. I've had failures where I just didn't negotiate a good deal or kind of letting someone else kind of run amok and do their thing. So out of learning from these failures, and I'm going to keep having failures, but learning from them and then trying to set up a process or set up a system that keeps me from making that same mistake.
People kind of see now that, you came from a bank, I believe you told me that you went to college, right?
Yeah, I got a degree from Indiana University. I went from a little satellite campus down in the hometown I grew up in New Albany, Indiana, and got a degree there. Got a bachelor's, got my associates and got my bachelor's degree. But everything out there is like factories, and it's either farming or factories.
So, one or the other then. Well, then how can, because there's a lot of people that want to make money in real estate. So, to do what you do, buying and selling these houses, what does it take? Does a person have to go to college? Do they have to have a lot of money? What do they need to
Absolutely not. In fact, most of the people that I know that are successful in real estate that usually have, their tax returns have a couple of commas, meaning they're making over $1 million a year. They don't have college degrees. And a lot of it is they're educated though. They self-study. They will listen to podcasts. They'll watch videos like this. They'll read books. They're always starving for more information, for the right information. One of the keys to success is finding a good mentor or coach, because they've made a lot of mistakes and they can save you from making the same mistakes and saving you a lot of money. So I think finding the right mentor or coach will help a ton, and then finding someone, model success, like Tony Robbins says, model someone that's already succeeding, see how they learned their aspect of their business and follow those steps.
Okay, yeah, that's good advice. Because like I said, a lot of these viewers, they'll, some of them might have come from different countries to the United States, or maybe they're in a different country altogether, and they want to learn, how to get in business. Maybe they don't have the money that they need, but as you said, this is a business where it's more time and effort than money.
Right. Well, I think the key is the American dream, right? Is to have prosperity and be prosperous, and it doesn't matter what country you're coming from. I think that, especially in today's age, with so much information that's available on the internet and at our fingertips on our smartphones and everything. We can find out a lot of things right away. The key is taking action. That's it. The people I've seen that have success in this business is they're not second guessing their mentor or their coach. They ask what they need to do. They do that step number 1, and then they do step number 2. They don't worry about step 3 through 7. They just do everything they're supposed to do and focus on that till they get to the next step.
It's one at a time rather than trying to do everything.
Right.
Or a little bit of everything, I should say.
No, just be really laser focused and take massive action. That's it. Take massive action.
But in less than a year, en menos de un año, conocemos a alguien que hizo más de $100,000 haciendo lo que hace él, que tiene 21 años y hizo más de $100,000 en un año, menos de un año haciendo lo que hace Brandon. So what would you say, the biggest piece of advice to someone that wants to get into the business and do well in the business?
Is, you're talking about Alex. Well, he has a little brother. I don't know if you know this. He just did his first real estate deal.
I saw that. Yeah.
He just made over $16,000.
Oh, was it that much?
Yeah.
Wow.
And all he did was do exactly what his brother told him to do, is to get on the phone and make calls, and then he made some offers, and he got a deal, and he made $16,000. 18 years old. So there's people with college degrees that aren't even making $30,000 or $20,000 a year, right? And this kid makes one deal and makes almost what people make in a year.
Yeah, I mean, I know when I worked at Wells Fargo, that's almost what I made. Yeah, I mean, that's like 3/4 of what I made in a year.
Yeah,
in one deal, which is just.
And it's possible. It's absolutely possible. It's just our mind gets in the way a lot of times of what is possible. And the more you start surrounding yourself, you do not want to be the smartest person in the room. You want to be surrounded by people that are much smarter than you and learn from them. If you're the smartest people in the room, or you're the smartest friend at the group, then you need to get some new friends.
I mean, how can people reach you? How can they get to know you? Find out what you're doing.
Well, check me out on Facebook, Brandon Simmons on Facebook. I have a YouTube channel as well, Brandon the Man. But I'm on Facebook a lot. I do a lot of Facebook Live videos and stuff. I've made a lot of friends on Facebook, and people that I met, virtually, I get to meet in person. And people that have been mentors to me or teachers to me, it's great to be able to meet them in person and see how that has changed, my life. I think the key too is just don't be afraid to reach out to people. Like, find a way on social media, direct message them. If there's someone that you follow that you respect, send them a message. Find a way to contact them and get your questions, just like what you're doing, ask them the questions that you feel like you need the answers to have success.
Yeah, because the thing that I think I learned, I don't know, a quote or a question, probably 3 years ago, but it was, if you don't ask, the answer will always be no.
Right.
So I just go by that. So, I mean, if I don't ask, I know it's going to be no. If I ask and it's still no, well, at least I asked. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's literally a 50-50 chance. Okay, so the last question, Brandon, is here. So, what new belief or behavior or habit has most positively impacted your life in the last 5 years?
I have downloaded an app called Audible. It lets me listen to audiobooks while I'm driving in my car, and I'm driving in my car probably 3 hours a day, maybe more some days. And while I'm sitting and working at my desk, I can listen to a ton of different books by a ton of different authors, and those are my mentors that are literally sitting in the seat next to me while I'm driving my car.
Awesome. And what purchases of $100 or less, because $100 isn't too much to spend, to get some education, start building the knowledge of whatever it is that you want to learn. So what purchases of less than $100 have most improved your life?
That's a good one. For like $100, you can buy a course. I've spent more than just $100 on courses,
right.
But just one course that may be a budget of $100 or $97. Maybe just that 1 or 2 or 3 little golden nuggets that you need, and the inspiration and the motivation to get out and do something. That's I think just video courses, like online courses. $100, and then I am off and rolling, and I will make more money off that $100 I spent. I'll make $10,000, $50,000 off it.
Man, it's awesome. Well, thank you so much, for letting me interview you, for letting the viewers here, kind of hear about your story, what it is that you do. It's totally possible. You could totally make money in real estate, with little or no money down, because a lot of people, they hear little or no money down, I think it's a scam. So
right. It's you got to ask yourself the question is, how can I do it? Don't stop at the roadblock, but figure a way to jump over that roadblock, bust through it, or go over top of it.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for letting me interview you. I appreciate it. Again, si tienen unas preguntas, voy a poner su Facebook en la descripción para que le puedan preguntar lo que ustedes quieran. Other than that, thank you.
Ten buen día. Adiós.